Next, we will hear from Gordon Taub, Scholarly Assistant Professor in the Voiland College of Engineering and Architecture, and Taylor Funk, Integrated Strategic Communication student graduating this spring. Taylor and Gordon are representing the Everett campus.
Thank you, Jessica. As Jessica said, I'm Gordon Taub. I am a mechanical engineering faculty here on the Everett campus, and I'm presenting today with Taylor Funk, who is a graduating senior who is a member of our Everett Wind Energy team. Next slide, please. So why are we interested in wind energy? It was probably not that many years ago when wind energy was kind of considered a very marginal energy source and maybe not a particularly realistic energy source for producing a large percentage of power in the United States. Whereas over the last decade, the amount of wind energy has tripled, and that was past another decade where it has tripled before. And for the first time in just this year, wind has now produced more energy than coal and nuclear. And actually, for the first time, literally just this last Saturday, 100% of the power being produced on the California grid for a short time was produced 100% by renewable energy. Currently, wind now produces about 9.2% of the energy in the United States. And while it's only 9.2% currently, it is the fastest growing new source of power, and 42% of new power coming online is coming from wind energy. The Department of Energy has identified a need to prepare the next generation of wind energy workers and the next generation of wind energy workforce. And it's predicted up to 600,000 jobs could be supported by wind energy by 2050. Next slide, please. So who are we? What is the Everett Wind Energy Club? About 4 years ago, a group of students and myself founded the Everett Wind Energy team as a collaboration between students of WSU Everett and Everett Community College. And for those of you who aren't familiar with our campus here in Everett, we are a transfer campus. We only offer, or majority only offer, classes at the junior and senior level, and almost all of our students transfer from a community college. We are located right across the street from Everett Community College, so they are a natural partner with us, and we try to build relationships between the engineering department at Everett Community College and the engineering departments at WSU Everett. We are also collaborating with Amtech, which is an advanced manufacturing training and educational center. This is part of Everett Community College, which is a part of Everett Community College that focuses on training machinists and people to actually manufacture goods. While I mention engineering because I'm an engineer, the team is cross-disciplinary. We have students from mechanical and electrical engineering, of course, but we are also have communication students such as Taylor, business students, and manufacturing students. The team is now in its 4th year, and over the past 3 years, can I go to the next slide, please? We have contributed in the Collegiate Wind Competition. The Collegiate Wind Competition is a national competition that is sponsored by the Department of Energy through the National Renewable Energy Laboratory called NREL. Each year, typically between 12 and 13 schools compete from across the nation. This is currently our 3rd year in the competition. As of now, currently, and in all the years since the competition started, we are the only school that is competing as a 4-year college with a 2-year college. And because we have been involved for the last 3 years, the first 2 years we were involved, unfortunately, while the competition is a year-long competition, the competition usually culminates at a different city each year. And of course, for the last 2 years, the in-person part of the competition was canceled due to COVID. So we are all very excited that in about 2 weeks, on May 15th, we will be traveling to San Antonio, Texas to compete in the physical competition. The engineering students will be able to test the wind turbine that they have designed and built in an N-rail wind tunnel in the San Antonio. The competition is held at the same place as a national wind energy conference and convention. So the students will be competing and showing their work, not just to the judges and the other competitors, but also to people actively working in the wind energy industry. So we're all really excited about that. The competition has 3 components. One component is to design a wind turbine. Another component is to design a wind farm. And a third component deals with creating connections between ourselves, the community, and the wind energy industry. And so I'm going to hand it over to Taylor, who will talk about our community outreach activities that relate to this segment of the competition.
Can I go to the next slide, please? So this year for our community engagement section of the competition, we participated in a number of different events throughout the year. So our initial event was Girls Discover STEM. And we just recently, this past weekend, had the kind of back half of that Girls Explore STEM on April 30th. And those are events that are put on by our campus, WSU Everett, to kind of engage middle and high school girls in STEM. And then we also participated in the Kidwind Regionals at Liberty Elementary, which Kidwind is a partner of NREL and is also working to engage students in STEM fields and wind energy specifically. And then the TSA Student Association is a similar STEM-based activity that we did, but our primary event was at Pomeroy High School, partnering with Enel. So we can go to the next slide. So our Pomeroy High School event, in partnership with Enel, they are a renewable energy company who is developing a wind farm in Garfield County, which is where Pomeroy is located. And so we kind of worked with them to set up this 2-hour event with the high school in Pomeroy. And they were able to learn a little bit about wind energy and then develop their own kind of concepts and prototypes for the turbines and test them in the Kidwind wind tunnel. And it was a bit of a competition to see who could have the most efficient wind turbine. And at the end, they got some prizes from Enel. So it was a really great way to kind of connect with the industry and educate some students about the future of the wind industry. Next slide.
So thank you, Taylor. And so Taylor did such a great job organizing these events over the year, and I would like to, for our future plans, to take what Taylor did and use this as a prototype for more community outreach events, and particularly more community outreach events in the North Puget Sound Everett region. What we would like to do is to take events like what we did at Pomeroy, and where we will go to local high schools, and by we, I mean WSU Everett faculty such as myself, along with community college faculty like my co-PI, Joe Graber, who's my co-PI at Everett Community College. And we will do events like we did at Pomeroy, of course, bringing with us students from our campus and students from the Everett Community College campus, and engage with students in high school science classes with fun STEM related activities, such as the wind energy activity we did at Pomeroy. And while walking these students and building relationships with these students and their teachers, walking them through a fun STEM related activity, also talk to the students about the possibilities and the advantages of seeking a 2+2 education, where students do their first 2 years at a community college before transferring to a 4-year college such as WSU Everett. So there, I think we'd like to end our presentation, and go Cougs.